joining us. Karibu sana to KNA Political Table, where we discuss matters governance, matters politics, what is happening in our country, what is happening in East Africa, Africa, and the world. Who did what, where, when, why, and how much money was spent? Because as usual, when you talk matters governance and politics, money has to be spent. Even the taxpayer has to spend a certain amount of money. As usual, I am joined by Emmanuel Bosire, who helps us understand as well as digest 1, 2, 3 things: matters governance, matters politics, matters leadership out here. And Karibu Sana. Now, let's get to it. The agenda of the day. What is happening in our country, Kenya? So finally, the Trade CS, that is Moses Kuria, made it to Siaya after aseme amepatiwa invitation na baba mwenyewe. And he was here to actually launch an industrial park. And from what we saw is that he was warmly welcomed by Oburu Odinga, that is the senator, as well as the governor, the Siaya governor. Now, of course, Moses Kuria talked about a lot of things, including like launching the industrial park, but he also talked about development has no boundaries, because at the end of the day, everyone benefits from it, whether you voted for the government or not. So just right about now, let us listen to Moses Kuria, and then we'll be right back.
Thank you, Governor. My brother, Governor of Siaya. Bas. What a day. What a day. Governor James Orengo, Your Excellency, my brother, the only youth leader of Siaya County, Dr. Oburu Oginga, viongozi wote, county executives, Jodhulo Untie, Jodhulo Mall, Siaya Mosou, Jarego Dinadi. Ningeendelea lakini I have some people who don't understand our language. So just allow me to continue in national language. And you know, I've been launching these industrial parks in Swahili. So today I'm happy it is the only day I can launch an industrial park completely in English. A testament that I'm in the great county of Siaya. You know, during the Second World War, there used to be fighting between, let us say, Germans and the British. And during tea time, someone will just shout, tea time. And when they shout tea time, it means everybody focus on having a cup of tea, and there's no more shooting and no more fighting. Today, I'm in Siaya to shout tea time. That there comes a time when we put our differences aside and focus on what unites all of us. And this journey of development and this battle to put money in the pockets of our people is actually a moment of tea time, when we pack our guns, get together as brothers and sisters, in the words of Governor Orengo, one people, one country, one nation. I am here today to culminate a very busy week and very fruitful week. We started in the plains of Laikipia, a county which brings together all communities of this country, from Kikuyus to Luos to Maasais to Turkanas to Pokots, on Monday. On Tuesday, we were in Nyatike, in Migori County, launching a similar industrial park. And yesterday, I was in Kisii, launching another park there in the land of bananas. And today, I came to the land of Jaramogi, and the land of Obama, and the land of Baba. And the land of the great James Orengo, to say that indeed development has no boundaries and we are all one people. What would make me more proud that coming back here in Alego in 2 years' time and finding, as per my estimate, around 20,000 people working here, working on a very thriving fish industry, where today I am not coming with new fish. It is the same fish that is found in this treasure of yours called the lake. But I am here today to ensure that you reap maximum benefit from your fish. The same fish that you have. Once we do value addition, once you do processing of your fish, once you sell your fish directly from Alego, as that young girl has said, from Siaya to the world, it will make my heart melt with love. How happy will I be if today I'm wearing clothes which are not benefiting the people of this country? But when we work together on the cotton industry here in Siaya, and within 2 years, we come back and say, we are now wearing clothes made in Siaya, not just by tailors of Siaya, but Siaya farmers toiling in their farms and helping us to clothe ourselves. For indeed, it's a shame that 60 years after independence, we continue to import clothes when we can actually make our own cotton. The same for all the other products. I have seen a lot of activities on sunflower and other edible oils. This year, Kenya will import crude palm oil worth 150 billion Kenya shillings. That money will benefit people of Malaysia, people of Indonesia, people of other countries. That money will create jobs in Indonesia and Malaysia. It is my humble contention that these jobs are required here in Kenya more than anywhere else. If we continue importing shoes, when we can, I've seen here some efforts to have some leather coming from fish as a byproduct of fish. And as I said on Monday in Laikipia, I look forward to next year where I'll ban all imports of shoes so that the people of Siaya and the people of this region can be able to convert fish into leather, into shoes, into bags for our ladies, into belts, so that we can also put money in our pockets. This program is a shared program. Kenya shillings 250 million from national government, Kenya shillings 250 million from the county government of Siaya. And I want to thank my brother Governor Orengo and the county assembly, especially the county assembly, for supporting the governor's program. I must say the governor has been, I must say, the most enthusiastic governor on this program. Although it's a program for the entire country, he has always been bothering me. And yesterday he had to come to Kisumu to ensure that I am there, and he gave instruction to the airport that they should close the airport for me until I launch this industrial park. I want to thank you, Governor, for that cooperation, because really it makes my work easier when we have a governor who is progressive, a governor who wants to do the best for our people, and the governor who knows that one day, after we leave this world, we are going to be remembered by our actions. Governor, I want to tell you for what you are doing today. These people of Siaya, I am very sure they will vote for you again. But that is not important. What is important is whether they vote for you or not. Me and you, we have got very high chances of seeing the kingdom of heaven because of what we are doing today. And I'm very, 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 very proud of that. So guys, let us work together to uplift the lives of our people. Hakuna uchaguzi mwaka huu. na hakuna mwaka ujao. So can't we keep ourselves busy by focusing on development? Then when the next election comes, we decide now, tea time is over, we go back to those other things. And if possible, even those ones, we leave them behind and we forge together as one united nation. Sitting here, standing here as a minister in charge of investment, trade and industry, I feel a
Yeah, so that was a trade CS, that is Moses Kuria, while in Siaya, launching the industrial park there. And of course, we have seen plenty of industrial parks like the beginning being launched. So earlier on that the government had set aside a certain amount of money that is approximately 4.7 billion Kenyan shillings. That is for the construction of industrial parks to aid in the manufacturing sector in Kenya. And of course, you know, by now it's a 50-50 game. The national government removes 50, the county governments also remove 50% to make this possible. And Tumona, you know, one thing about Moses Kuria, I find him a really interesting man. You know,
why?
Because anywhere he goes, it doesn't matter if he's welcomed or he's not welcomed. He always finds a way of bringing people together. You know, so in Siaya, first of all, he went there and he said something really important that at the end of the day, whether ulipiga kura or kupiga kura, says the focus is on development. You know, everyone now has to benefit from whatever development is going on in the country. You know, and in it, of course, we know Moses Kuria's stand. Na tunajua vizuri, he's always like been saying negative stuff about Baba, for example, and now he's gone to Baba's stronghold. But you know, he also gave a story of how his relationship with the Odinga family is from kitambo when alimuokolea, you know. So I find him a really interesting character, especially in the political scene. Sijui wanaonaje maono ama maono.
I have been forced to make this video because I've been advised.
I want to ask a question. Who paid Moses Kuria university?
Alisema, I do not know who paid the university fees, but alisema he was about to be expelled or suspended from school.
It's clear in the records that
stop.
Is the one.
Every ill and negative word
About Baba, yes.
About Baba. Now, what's politics? Now, what is politics?
A dirty
How
game.
can you define politics? Is it a dirty game?
A dirty game, a lying game.
It's a lying game.
You know, a manipulative game also.
It manipulates who and who?
Us as the citizens. Because Kenya tunaona sio what is happening on the ground.
If politics could have been a dirty game, then we could not have people leaving their professionals to join politics. For the record, we don't have any profession known as politics. It's people who leave their different professions. People who are doctors come to join politics. Lawyers come and join politics. Engineers come and join politics. Now, what is politics then?
The way of life, I'd say it. No.
So there are many ways to define politics, but at the end of the day, it's only differing in interests that brings division in politics, especially for politicians. Now, Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga actually has taken many students to university. He paid Kipchumba Murkomen in university. The Kipchumba Murkomen is aware. He says that now and then. Isaac Mwaura, Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga paid his school fees at university. He brought many people to politics. Aisha Juma, Simba Arati, Hassan Joho. You can name them. Many people. William Ruto, who Raila Amolo Odinga has mentored in one way or another in politics. Now, what happened, or what now has come to happen is that in politics, things change. politicians also grows. We have transition from a generation of leadership to another generation. Like now, you're seeing what's happening in ODM. There are people who are praying Raila Amolo Odinga to die, so that they can inherit
the seat.
The seats which Raila Amolo Odinga is holding in our country. But it will take the time. Now, Mheshimiwa Moses Kuria is a minister at the moment. So at the moment, we can differentiate him from a politician. Now that his docket is one of the cabinet secretaries working for trade. And for trade to prosper, for businesses and trade in any country to prosper, the government must lay favorable conditions for the business of a country, both local market and international market to move on. Now, one of the ways to create more jobs and business opportunities is by using industrial parks.
Yes.
The government has identified the industrial parks. Now that it's a devolved program, they've started with the first 21 counties, where Siaya County is one of the beneficiaries. Siaya County is headed by a Senator Oburu Odinga, a brother to Raila Amolo Odinga.
None.
Do you know the woman rep?
For Siaya County? Can't remember the name.
Okay. And the governor is Agri James Orengo.
Orengo, yes.
So this is where Baba Raila Amolo Odinga comes from, in Bondo. Now, today, the program that Mheshimiwa Moses Kuria went to launch gave him first a platform to show his political knowledge and mastery on how to use your opponents very well. So you saw him when there, being welcomed well. A lot of people attended. It became more a developmental program. And this is what we want as a country. We don't want to have areas being sidelined that they never voted for the government. And for the records, the first event Mheshimiwa William Ruto ever did as a president, it was in Luo Nyanza, in Homa Bay County. He has gone there twice. So, and for your information again, Kisumu County and the Nyanza region, in as much they are in opposition, they have a lot of development projects. In as much they are in opposition, they have a lot of development projects. Especially the leadership of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta through the handshake. The handshake brought a lot of development to the residents of Nyanza as a whole. We're seeing good roads being maintained and made. Extension, you see migration officers, the Kisumu International Airport, you see what? Many developments. And
the roads.
So, what we want to have now as a country, this is the way we need to go. We don't want to have areas being sidelined that they never voted in for this particular government. We want to understand that politics is politics. When politics is gone, let's now dwell in what brought us to office. Let us now see it and do and deliver a development project to others.
Most definitely. And I personally applaud Moses Kuria for his statements when he says, now it's trying to, sort of like trying to bring unity as well as bring some sort of cohesion and peace at a time where, of course, we are having issues in the country when we're talking about the Kenya Kwanza government at one, when you're talking about the cost of living in Kenya, when you're talking about the fuel prices in Kenya, when you're talking about the bipartisan talks and everything. So I think what he's trying to do, or what he's doing, is actually a good way to bring Kenyans together and to show that despite who you voted for or the system that you chose, you have right to vote, yes, but at the end of the day, whoever you voted for or whoever you didn't vote for, if they got power, then it's their due diligence is actually to do the development in that particular area, which is something great, something to applaud. That is the CS. Now, tukisonga mbele, when you talk about CSs, when you talk about governance, when you talk about leaders, now nominated senator, that is Gloria Olgoba, has put a firm stand to accusations, or to the accusations of that is Jeremiah Nyegenya, who is the Senate clerk, for soliciting her for sexual favors from her. And this comes after news of her suspension from Senate as well as Parliament due to failing to appear to defend certain allegations that were there against her. Of course, Oroba is facing several counts of number one, making unsubstantiated allegations that there were instances of that is pursuit of sexual favors that I stated earlier on in Parliament, and she was also accused of making allegations of favoritism, discrimination, as well as corruption in the Senate. Now, of course, Oroba earlier on went to social media and did a video, shared a video defending herself and saying that she's actually standing firm on the statements that she made on the accusations that she's making against the clerk, on the accusations of the corruption as well as the misgivings by the Senate or by Parliament as well. Now, Akasama, she is the whistleblower of the government, and that is not going to stop anytime soon. So let's just listen to Gloria, and then we'll be right back.
I have been forced to make this video because I've been advised that there is actually a problem. There will be serious. Someone has called me and told me that I am being debated in the Senate. I can't follow. I'm in between. I'm on transit, actually trying to get to my next meeting, and I'm informed that because I'm not in chambers and I'm being discussed, there are some allegations and some conversations that are actually not correct. I'm told that Senator Sifuna is talking about me being given an opportunity to defend myself, and yet I refused to defend myself. First of all, that is not the case. I complained, and I continue to complain, and I am on record, both in written to the Parliamentary Service Commission, and I'm on record as well in my personal statement, and I still stay on record that the clerk of the Senate, Jeremiah Nyegenya, solicited for sexual favors from me. And once I refused to participate in that kind of arrangement, then the retaliation began. And at first I didn't really think that he was truly retaliating until I systematically analyzed all the challenges that I've been going through. I have listed my challenges repeatedly on paper. We are actually in court, and this is a matter that is live in court. That is why you don't see me commenting on it. But Parliament has chosen to continue discussing and debating it, and so therefore I have to add my voice. I have 3 minutes before I board my flight, because I'm here on capacity building, and I'm here also on fundraising for a factory in Kenya for sanitary pads. But I want to say this. Senator Sifuna is very well aware that the Powers and Privilege Committee did not invite me to give my part of the story. What they did is they charged me for complaining on retaliation. I have repeatedly asked for evidence. In fact, my latest one being a letter that I wrote saying that the Senate has to release a travel report, because it is obvious when the travel report comes out, it is not my word against the clerk. You will see very well what I'm talking about. You will see how the clerk is actually using his office to, let's say, certain people in terms of compensating you with trips. There are people who are forever on flights, who are forever getting per diems from the exchequer, and it is in this travel report. People are earning out of it, and the people who actually need to travel because they have to work and execute their duties as senators are the ones who are now being who are actually suffering the consequences. But what I don't understand is, Senate is aware that I am not there, but yet they brought the motion today. Why? Because they knew that I would not get my 15 minutes to discuss this. And that is what is upsetting. So I still remain firm, and I remain that there are sexual favors. And the senators know this. They know that the senators who are actually, they are being paid, so to speak, because they are trading sexual favors for legislative agenda, for trips, for so many things. And I don't care about that. That's fine. They can do that. But we shouldn't be punished. Those of us who actually came to Senate to work. I'm a legislator, and I came there to work. I should not be punished because I'm highlighting an illegality that is happening. If the clerk of the Senate knows that he's innocent, Why is he engineering all the systems behind it to ensure that that a wrong story is being told? Why couldn't Senate wait until I'm back? Then they can put it on the order paper when I'm back, and then we discuss it. Why did they take it out of Parliament when I was in Parliament? Because when I was in Parliament and we were discussing the motion was adjourned. And then I was told we are going to discuss these things and deal with it outside of Parliament. But now, when I'm away, and they know I'm away, that's when they bring it, because I can't defend myself. I have to speak up. The corruption is there, and I'm a whistleblower, and this is what I get for it, but that's okay. But let not anyone lie to you that I was given an opportunity. No, I was charged for complaining and highlighting the corruption that's going on in Senate.
Yes, now that was the nominated senator, that is Gloria Oroba, stating that indeed she was not offered a chance to actually defend herself, but she was just charged with a suspension. Now, of course, her suspension from Parliament comes with certain conditions or certain rules. Number one being that she is required to apologize before all the senators at the bar, that is before being allowed back to the Senate at the end of a suspension, that is after 6 months. And obviously she will not be able, or should not be able to attend the Parliament sittings of the second session of the 13th Parliament. And she also has been barred from accessing the Parliament, as well as using any enjoyment facility that are provided to members of the state. Now, we have seen Gloria coming out and stating that, first of all, a lot is happening in the system, a lot is happening in Parliament, and there's a lot of corruption. And number one, she has stated that the major way to pay for staff, or the main way to pay for staff, is obviously soliciting sexual favors, which means that those who are supposed to be working, those who are supposed to be given, for example, funds, or to be given the chance to travel and do their mandate or do their work, are the ones who are actually being denied this chance, or kulizwa. You have to give something in return in order to get to this. And we have also seen Oroba coming out and stating that, coming out and stating that she actually has not been called or informed to appear before Parliament and the Senate to defend herself. Rather, she has just been penalized. She has been penalized bila kuongea. Now, if I'm not wrong, someone has to be present in Parliament or in Senate if there's a motion that is being discussed about them, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and her stating this, do you feel like it's sort of, there is an issue, for example, inside the Senate as well as Parliament, for number one, probably or allegedly holding this particular motion to suspend or rather that is without her consent, and as the allegations that she's making worth being suspended for, or should she actually be given a chance to go ahead and defend her accusations, kwa sababu anasema kuna receipts huku nje, you know?
Other things it's difficult to discuss about. She's an honorable member. She knows how to handle herself in the chambers, and how to handle herself outside the Senate. What normally comes is that when you get people who are new to government system, especially for our country, it becomes difficult for them to adapt. There are other nominated senators. Why not them, and why Gloria Oroba, if I can ask?
Probably I'd say because she's the one who wanted to speak out. People have different reasons.
It
Has
could be,
courage.
let's say that, yeah, it's true, the system could be corrupt, and other favors to be sought for by those one in office. But again, this is not the first time Oroba she's complaining of the same. I remember the other time she had an issue with her periods. Some things we want you to go there and discuss important things. But now when you bring the whole house to start discussing about your periods, I think that was a very
important motion, because
no, it cannot be.
Period poverty is
no.
Period poverty is something major in Kenya.
Don't say that, because maybe you are a lady.
I'm saying that because I'm a lady, because I know about period poverty.
Let's argue that it's is it the thing she sent to discuss? Remember, she's nominated.
But she has an agenda to put out here. That is something that is affecting a lot of young girls, a lot of women in Kenya.
So that should be discussed in Senate.
Yes. Wherever you get a chance to discuss it, it has to be discussed. We've seen countries that have lifted the price of sanitary towels or
and you
products.
saw her saying that she's in Kenya, she wants to take a flight. She's starting an industry for sanitary.
Yes, that is something. That is not something to laugh about, Emmanuel. Period poverty and period stigma is something real out here. And it's high time, actually, congratulations, it's high time for someone to come out and fight for that.
Now, she's a lawyer by profession, so she understands what's going on. I'm not saying that her allegations could not be true. What I'm only saying is that the house is a respected house, which is known to follow the orders and procedures. Now, if she was not given a fair hearing, I'm sure that she can appeal and then defend herself to us why she's been suspended from the house and again for this period of 6 months. Yeah.
Okay, most definitely. Now, as you said, there's not much to say about that because at the end of the day, neither of us have evidence as to whether the allegations are true or false, or as to whether she was informed on the hearing or not. But most definitely, we are looking forward to seeing what is going to happen, if they're going to give Roba, that is a second chance to defend herself, and probably in the spirit of whistleblowing, come out and tell us what is really happening in the Senate as well as Parliament, and who is ailing the system through corruption, as you said, because you said there's a lot of corruption in there. So we are really looking forward to that, and most definitely we are going to keep you updated when it happens and with how it's going to how things are going to proceed moving forward. Now, when it comes to again matters politics, of course you have someone who you feel that huyu tunaenda na yeye kama mbaya, whether they're succeeding or whether they are losing, whether they are trying a million times and probably failing 99 times. We don't know, maybe the 20th time they're going to perform. Now, of course, we have political diehards. We've seen people out here saying, Mimi, I am for who? I am for Wajakoya, I am for Ruto, I am for Raila, Mimi na Baba, damu mpaka mwisho, you know. But while we see, or while we are at a situation or a stage where we've seen the Azimio la Umoja team, or ODM, yes, ODM, expel some of its members because of misbehaving or because of what is not going hand in hand with the party. We've seen other people wakivuka mpaka wakienda kwenye the opposing party, that is UDA, or the opposing coalition, that is the Kenya Kwanza team, or KK as Martha Karua puts it. Now, Babu Owino has come out and said that he is a strong diehard of Raila Odinga, and the only time or the only way that people can actually start talking about who is to replace Raila Odinga or who can come in place of Raila Odinga is only when Raila Odinga is no longer there. But since he is there, wako na yeye mpaka mwisho. Let's listen to Babu Owino.
It comes to matters succession, Raila Amolo Odinga, Baba, is someone I respect so much, someone I love with my soul. I love Raila to death, and I resonate with his ideologies. That's why I've never wavered, I've never moved to any side except Raila's side. Matters succession, people are allowed to talk, people are allowed to float names here and there. But as things are, Raila Amolo Odinga is our king, is our leader. Raila Amolo Odinga, to whom we owe our loyalty. Raila Amolo Odinga, to whom we owe everything we have. Raila Amolo Odinga, to whom we owe our life. And I always say Baba is always right. Rule number 1. Rule number 2, Baba is never wrong. Rule number 3, if rule number 2 fails to apply, you refer to rule number 1. Baba is always right. I can never discuss succession politics when Baba is still there because he's my leader. That amounts to treason, you know. Why? Because Brian, never ever the laws of power says that never discuss the succession of a king while a king is still alive. And you cannot inherit somebody's wife if he is still alive. And me, I can only say that God has a path for me. And in Jeremiah, God said that, my son, I knew you before you were born, and I knew you in your mother's womb. I have plans for you, plans to make you prosper and not to destroy you. So the plans that God has lined up for me, that is what I will religiously follow. And I know one day we will reach where we want to reach. Right. Thank you.
Definitely. Emmanuel mentioned this earlier on. We can clearly see that Babu Wino is a diehard of Raila Odinga. And amesema rule number one, Raila Odinga is always right. Rule number two, Raila Odinga is never wrong. And of course, if you're vouching for your leader, kuna ile kuwa diehard fan of it all. Now, Babu also mentioned one thing that never discuss the succession of a king. That is before the king is dead. But we can clearly see out here that kuna watu wanatafuta kiti hii. And Raila Odinga has been the leader of opposition for the longest time possible. And of course, there is a question. Raila Odinga is still alive. He's probably going to be alive for the next very many years. But there's a question that lingers is that who can take the place of Baba, or who will take the place of Baba? Who will lead the opposition like Baba has? And I say this because earlier on yesterday we were discussing about the Kamwene Leadership Forum when we were asking, is the Azimio House burning down? And we saw the likes of Kioni again, I repeat, saying a statement that if he were the leader of opposition, then probably he wouldn't have been participating in the bipartisan talks, which shows that, number one, there is a gap, or there is a thought of who is going to replace Baba, or who is going to take the place of Baba, number one. And number two, obviously, the question of if Baba is actually leading the coalition in the right way. So, Emmanuel, now I bring you in. Who do you think the system can or will replace
Now, which system?
Baba?
Which system?
In Kenya.
Raila Amolo Odinga is a system himself.
I know. Now, who can? Ama Raila akitoka kwenye kiti, then the party is dead.
Before we go to Kingpin and whatsoever, one of the challenges that we have in Africa, you'll only have succession of Kingpin unless one is dead. Until the last moment, this is what costed Kanu. This is what costed Kadu, whereby Mheshimiwa Moi has wanted to be the kingpin until his death. So until his death, people cannot wait you until you die. They'll be organizing themselves. And this is what other politicians did. So again, the problem became after Moi passing away, he thought Kanu was a family affair. So leaving Kanu to Gideon Moi, his son, even buried Kanu more even more. Remember, Kanu has got resources. They have a lot of resources as a political party. But again, to mobilize people again to come to Kanu, it will be very difficult. Now, on the issue of Raila Amolo Odinga, his succession from politics, what Mheshimiwa Babu Wino is doing from another area is that he's applying the 48 laws of power, that you don't outshine your masters. At the same time, you don't outshine your superiors. So he's trying to remain on a middle ground, buying time on Raila Amolo Odinga to still being there. Because if now Babu Wino starts saying that he wants to be the next kingpin, what will Sifuna do? What will be the likes of Simbarati do? What will be the likes of who is this? Nyambita do? Many people. So at the moment, there are many people who want to be kingpins for ODM. But until then, first, if you declare you want to be a kingpin, one, Raila Amolo Odinga must completely destroy you. And number two, those superior to you will also work your position as early as possible. Now, Raila Amolo Odinga could not be replaced. These are some few individuals that our country will always miss for a long time. You cannot replace Raila Amolo Odinga in the next few years to come. This is because we have never understood who is Raila Amolo Odinga. We've never understood his mission for our country. Raila Amolo Odinga has undergone a lot of things. Single-handedly fought the government. Not the government, the government. Moi's government, Kibaki's government, Uhuru's government, even Ruto's government. Now, before maybe we say that we need another kingpin to replace Raila Amolo Odinga, that's now being another aspect of being selfish. What have you, at times, you don't even claim yourself to be a kingpin. At times, you let people make you a kingpin. What have you done? What have you sacrificed for this our country? You cannot come, like we saw the other elections. Some key individuals from Azimio and ODM, they had money to pay the agents. They never paid the agents. They took that money to their accounts. There's the same people used the ODM platform very wrong. Before you speak, Mbele Raila Amolo Odinga lazima umpe chai. So that one has killed ODM already. Now what we'll have, maybe, my take is that we'll have other people coming up. Now that we want to see a revolution, now we're going to have this generation of Raila Amolo Odinga now coming to an end. And bringing in new revolution for youthful leaders. Now, Mheshimiwa William Ruto will be quite some influential for the coming years. Now the likes of Babu, Sifuna, Simba, others in ODM. We have Kidero again. Kidero wanted to. Kidero wanted to. We have Miguna also saying they want to be the next Luo kingpin. So we have many. We only want to wait and see. But what I know, we will not have someone who will replace Baba Raila Amolo Odinga. It should be very difficult. Yeah.
And to our viewers, that is the question that I'm posing to you as we finish up. Who is going to be the next opposition kingpin, as we put it? Who will replace Baba? That is the question I'm leaving you with. Please feel free to tell us on the comment section below. And that is all we had on today's edition of KNA Political Table. Most definitely, thank you for allowing us to keep you company and for also keeping us company to the very end. And we're looking forward to hearing your thoughts as well as your views on matters politics, matters governance in Kenya. And once again, who is going to be the next opposition kingpin in Kenya?